Cryptocurrency mining is a serious fucking scam, folks. And in a few minutes or however long this video is, you'll know exactly what the fuck I mean. First of all, watch this video.
So guys, that is Bitcoin. We can send value through a decentralized application. What is Ethereum? Ethereum is also a blockchain technology. However, the main difference is that with Ethereum, you could build a Bitcoin application for transferring value. So you could build a currency like Bitcoin. But you can also build a social network. You can also build a decentralized Wikipedia. And you can build whatever you would like, because the programming language used in Ethereum is Turing complete, meaning that it's like Java, it's like C++ or JavaScript, meaning that you could build anything you would like, guys, on Ethereum. And all the transactions and all the logic, all the code that you write will be executed in a decentralized manner on the blockchain, much like the Bitcoin network works when I send value. So there will be no intermediaries.
Listen to what this guy says. How does he describe Ethereum? He calls it a decentralized platform. That's the first sign of somebody who doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about when it comes to these things, because he's using terminology which is commonplace amongst those who want to be describing cryptocurrencies. And such terminology is commonplace because these people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Firstly, what is a decentralized platform? Decentralized from what? He tells you it's a decentralized platform, but he doesn't tell you from what it's decentralized. That's because it's not decentralized from anything. You see, you need to be able to look at things in terms of their semantic significance. What does it mean for something to be decentralized? To take something which is at a point and distribute its components. That's what it means, essentially, to decentralize something. As long as those components are still functional, of course, let me add that. But people like him, in talking about Ethereum, try to make it complicated. You need to ask yourself why that is. I can tell you why that is. Either they don't understand what they're talking about and want to describe things in a way that would trick others into thinking, wait, he must know a lot more about this than I do, so I can't understand it. Either that, or he's trying to deceive you by saying things in a way that don't make any logical sense. For example, look what he says here.
Meaning that if you would like, for example, to build the next Facebook on Ethereum, this social network would not have any central player. There would not be any Facebook corporation sitting in between users. All the users would communicate peer-to-peer. And all the data and all the value created in the network would belong to the users.
Here he says, the community, people mining the cryptocurrency, are going to own the social network. Fucking bullshit. Let me tell you what Ethereum is and why this guy is talking a bunch of crap. Ethereum is a multi-node processing platform for enterprise applications. What do I mean? Ethereum allows business owners who want to run certain applications to offload the processing power onto you, the guy who buys the graphics card. Because that's how these cryptocurrencies are being mined, via GPUs, people at home buying their cards. So instead of a company having to invest the money into acquiring power from servers to run the company's applications, they can rely on you guys at home. They can use your power, your processing power, to perform the necessary computations. So that is the benefit of something like Ethereum for the business owners. The benefit of Ethereum for those who are performing the GPU mining, those who are providing the power, is that they get paid. But they're not going to be paid in US dollars or pounds. They're being paid in a cryptocurrency called Ether. Now, why is there an entirely new currency invented? Because essentially, you won't have to rely on any banks. And the value of Ethereum is going to be determined by the supply and demand, as all currencies are essentially. But of course, it's pretty much a matter of you making up a price and whether or not somebody else agrees to pay that. That's what that means. So it means the price is being made up, as the value of all other currencies are being made up today. So Ethereum, constituting its own economy, allows you to create a cryptocurrency whose value relative to the pound or the dollar can fluctuate independently. Now, using certain people, using certain advertising platforms, you can hype up this thing called Ethereum and get a lot of people on board, because you need to get a lot of people on board. And that's where the scam comes in, because people like this guy are saying, by some miracle, a social network being run on the Ethereum platform is going to be owned by the people who constitute that platform. No, the people who constitute that platform are just the workforce, essentially. And they're being paid in Ether. That's all they get. They're being paid in Ether, period. Okay? If an advertiser's advertising on a social network run on Ethereum, the advertiser is paying the person who owns the program. You as a programmer decide to get your power from the users that constitute the Ethereum platform. That's how people mining cryptocurrencies are paid. Okay, so this dude is either lying to you or he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about like the rest of these other people.
Let me give you an example, guys. If we have a social network based on Ethereum, the users could directly get the funds from advertisers, because advertisers would put their resources into the social network, and then whoever watches the ad would get this ad revenue, not some kind of corporation sitting in between the users. So you as a user would actually be a shareholder of the network. And that is one of the coolest things with Ethereum and decentralized technology.
You'll notice that since the launch of Bitcoin, not all that much has been talked about. There are tons of different cryptocurrencies available, but they don't really get any press. Since Bitcoin, not all that much has been talked about in terms of groundbreaking news. But quite recently, this thing called Ethereum popped up, and you started seeing people making YouTube videos saying, Ethereum, how to make money mining Ethereum. Let me tell you this. If somebody had a foolproof way of making a lot of money, why in the fuck would they tell you about it? Think about that for a second. Exactly. You need to understand that the businesses for whom the existence of Ethereum is beneficial are going to be promoting this. They are going to get people to talk about Ethereum and to promote it so that people can buy GPUs and start mining cryptocurrencies, because the business owners need these people's power. But what does that do? That creates a shortage in the GPU market, right? There aren't that many graphics cards available. As of late, there have not been that many available, and those that have been around have been hyped up in price. So that creates an economic bubble, right? That is an inflated value of something, which will deflate as soon as people realize that it's not worth the price anymore. Now, people buying all these GPUs to mine is going to saturate the population of processing nodes for companies. Because you have to understand that the people determining the price of Ether or the value of these cryptocurrencies are these companies, right? If you think they're not getting paid, you're deluded. So an overpopulation of all these processing nodes on Ethereum is going to do what? Drive down the value of Ether. You can't keep hyping it up, because at some point it won't make any financial sense to go for Ethereum instead of just sticking to real world money and just buying servers or going through some third party to use their servers to do whatever you want. Okay? And when that happens, people aren't going to be seeing significant return on investment. These people who've bought all these graphics cards. When that happens, they're going to start selling all their cards. They're going to start selling all their cards to try and gain back some of the money that they've wasted. And that will lower graphics card prices again.